While the black people in America are frustrated at their government, they're upset about immigration and they're upset about us Africans. A lot of black American people are on lives, different social media platforms, talking about how Africans need to go back to Africa. They're sick and tired of Africans. As an African who lives in this country, I can take accountability of some of the things that we Africans do. The problem is that you move into someone's country and focus on what you can benefit from the system, and then you're totally removed from the problems of the people of that country. People that actually look like you. You want to go around, shout Pan-Africanism, we are all Africa, we come from Africa. But when we are here, we are also influenced by the YT to turn against our own people. Yeah. And we have to take accountability and speak about these things. These things really hurt. If you live in America as an African, you benefit from the American system. Black people in this country fought for you to even benefit, from this system. When you come here, you care about your tech job, your business, your success, your brand. You're taking, take. You're not part of the culture. You're not part of any movement. And when black people have problems and cry, you're not part of their problems either. How many of us African creators even use our platforms to actually speak on things that black people go through in this country? We don't. They don't want us here. They want us gone. Because you want your green card, you want your tech job, you want to be Miss America, you want to have 15 flags on your profile, talk about how you're in America, influenced by the YT to actually think that a black person in America is the one who is a problem and is your enemy. I can relate to the frustrations, the pain of black American people in America, because it's almost as if we are using them just to be in the system. And that's something that we need to actively change. A lot of us don't even have black friends. Guys, let's speak the truth. Some of us, when we came to America, we were warned by our fellow Africans to stay away from the black people. Who came with that influence? The attempts to address black people in their own land by Africans. I have so many black friends. When you migrate into a country, you're supposed to integrate yourself into the system. The system is kind and open enough to give you an opportunity to have your Afro festival, your Caribbean festival, which is a good thing. We appreciate that. But in some ways, we're totally removed from black culture. What is the cultural exchange? Why are we here? We should be living together. Now, on top of being removed, which is already a trigger and a painful thing, you want to come and silence black Americans when they are raising issues like racism, which is still an active thing in America. You want to tell them that, oh no, let's focus on soccer. You guys are making everything about race. But there's a black person dying in America all the time. We use our platforms to talk about our Jollof festival. We actually want to come and create our little Africa. I think these are the things that we should do better as immigrants. We should learn about migrating. I love living in this country. I come from a beautiful and a great country. But there's certain things that I don't have in my beautiful and great country. I would be so sad if I did not have America as an option. I'm not saying America is the safest place, but I love the fact that I can walk around in my shorts here and not be harassed as a woman compared to what I would feel if I was home. Yes, at the end of the day, America is a first world country. Quality of life is different. While I enjoy that, I need to also understand that here in America, I'm not just a South African girl, but I am also a black American person here. So I cannot be totally removed and not involved and just want to benefit from the system but do not help the people of this country when they're going through a lot. That's the problem with us. And I know how it feels. So I cannot be totally removed from the problems of America and just want the American dream, the glamorous side of the American dream. That is one of the reasons black American people are frustrated and don't want us here, because we use them. We want them for things that benefit us. After that, we are gone. That is not right. That is not integrity.
Shout out to this African woman. Everything that she said is true. And she's one of the few African migrants in America who understand black Americans. Many African migrants go to America, start disrespecting black Americans, start looking down on them, start saying that they are lazy, start telling them that they have a victim mindset, that they don't want to work. And they act that they are better than black Americans. Mind you, these are the same people who could not solve the problems in their own countries. And they are calling black Americans lazy. They get some favors from white supremacy. And then they start thinking that they are better than black Americans. It is a pattern that we keep recognizing among these African migrants. And she has said it clearly. I remember one of my friends who happens to live in the USA I was once telling him that I had a plan of going to the USA. Right now, I don't live in the USA, I live in Africa. And one thing that he really told me is that I've got to avoid associating myself with these black Americans. And his point was that these people are lazy, these people don't want to work, these people hate African migrants. How can you like the people who are always disrespecting you? How can you like the people who always think that they're better than you? These migrants, these African migrants, always get angry when black Americans tell them to go back home. But you've got to understand black Americans, where they're coming from. They're in their own countries. They've worked hard to make America become a great nation. And then these other migrants from foreign nations are disrespecting them, being in their own country. They're acting as if they're better than them. Come on. I ain't supporting them hating on immigrants. What I'm really trying to say is to understand where these black Americans are coming from. And this woman and other few African migrants understand black Americans. I really want us to watch the rest of the clips that I've put together for you guys, and the man who is going to come at the end will explain it in a better way. Let's watch the video from the beginning to the end, and if you find it interesting, make sure you hit on the like button. And those viewers who have not yet subscribed, smash the subscribe button. Let's get into it.
As a Nigerian living in the United States, I do understand the initial response of the Black American, and that is to attack when they are confronted with something like that. And this is because all of their lives they've been told by people that their skin color is wrong, their hair is wrong, their culture is wrong. And so they're always on guard. They're always ready to defend.
Like, don't piss in my mouth and then call it lemonade. Because what's the derogatory word for white people that's colonizing your land to this day? And for the Caribbean and Africans that say we don't have any culture, and come on now, we can already debunk that. What's your culture? And don't tell me food. It's to the point where I don't even want to date a Caribbean or an African that has a coon mindset unless you have a rider mindset. And black Americans built this country, not Africans, don't you forget.
You wouldn't send a lion in the zoo back to Africa because he's not built for that environment no more. Because of what you did to him, it'd be inhumane for you to put him back in that environment. So I'm an American. I'm an Afro-American. Africans sold us around the world. They betrayed us. Me personally, I don't want to patronize them by calling myself an African American, even though I am African. If the world decides to kill us all because we're black, I'll help them fight. I'll do business with them. But I'm an Afro-American. I am an American. So I need to compromise with the extreme white man, and I need to show him some effort. I'm going to go out of his way. I'm going to get me some land, and I'm going to get out the way. I'm going to pull myself up by my bootstraps. He's not going to give me the land that my people deserve. I'll let the universe and God take care of that. I'll buy the land, and I'm going to get out the way. And when I do that, just don't come over there destroying nothing. And I'll let him live in his peace too. And if there's a neutral zone where I can go handle my business, I think that's a realistic compromise.
Black Americans are always jealous of Africans because we come here and we do better. Every single time we come here and we do better. Y'all, I really love you guys. Honestly, you guys make content creation so easy for me. Like you just really fuel me with so much shit. And it's just, I actually appreciate you. Like it's so much fun to do this. Because this is such a old ass, tired ass conversation that we have debunked so many times, but yet you still keep approaching us with the same old shit, knowing goddamn well that you are not doing better than us. Like, driving for Uber is not doing better. Okay, do you know that there's somewhere between 11,000 and 25,000 millionaires, black millionaires, just in the city of Atlanta, Georgia? I live in Ohio and I know millionaires, black millionaires. I live in Ohio and I know multiple six-figure earners. Okay, so I'm not really sure like who you're comparing yourself to. Matter of fact, no, let me stop lying, because I know exactly who you're comparing yourself to. You're doing what you guys always do, which is comparing your top little 10% to our bottom 10%. And that's where you get your numbers from. Because that's the only way that you can actually make it seem like you're doing better. Because if you were to compare apples to apples instead of apples to oranges, you would realize that you're not coming over here doing better. So there's really no reason for you to talk shit. Okay? So you can miss me with the bull. The video that you're replying to is just me giving my opinion on a politician. And I'm sorry that you don't have the right or the privilege to criticize the politicians in your nation, but I have the right over here in my nation, and I'm going to exercise that right, and I'm going to criticize and whoever the decides to go into office. So there's no reason for us to be jealous, because boo-boo, you ain't got nothing that we want or that we can get. You ain't got nothing we want. Nothing. Absolutely not one thing. Bye-bye.
You stealing from the airport.
I'm not stealing, I'm buying paint. That's what I told you. What do you
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Black folks always stealing something.
I'm not black folks, I'm African.
That's the same thing, you black.
Not the same thing, we're different than you guys.
Look at your hand.
No, we're different than you guys from here.
How you different from me?
Oh yeah, we different.
How?
We don't do the same thing.
What you mean? So you better?
I'm not saying we better, but we do different stuff.
Like what? Give me an example.
We do different stuff. We African, we do different stuff.
Give me an example.
Listen.
Like y'all eat rabbits and we eat pigs?
Yeah, hold on. When Obama win, I see the black folks here started this. You know what I told them? I said, no, it's not your win. It's African who win. Believe me. And you better.
Oh, so Obama, you celebrated too?
Of course, Obama is African.
So why they can't celebrate?
Did Jesse Jackson win? He never going to be able to win. Jesse Jackson, did he win?
You said.
Did he win?
Hold up.
Win?
You said we was dancing when Obama won.
No, listen. Y'all don't act right. Let me clear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and you do.
No, yeah, that's how Obama win. This doesn't win.
So you say the African Americans in America don't act right?
No.
And you do.
We do. That's how Obama over there.
You racist.
I'm not. I like y'all, but you know what? That's the reality I'm telling you.
You're racist. You just like the white people.
No, I'm not white. I'm African.
No, you're like the white people.
No,
you're
I'm African. I'm African. You hear me?
So wait, you won't go get a diamond chain and wear around your neck?
Oh wait, no, I ain't gonna wear. I'm not gonna show my underwear. Do you see me dressed up?
Let me see.
I'm not gonna show my underwear to you.
They're your brothers.
They're not our
and
brothers.
sisters.
They're not our brothers.
They are.
If you were born in America and have lived there for 300 years, you're no longer African. Those are Americans. We don't need them.
We don't need
They
them.
were taken away, unfortunately, but they are Americans. We will develop by ourselves. Yeah, we have the capacity, we have the will, we have the resolve. We don't need them. No.
I totally agree with you. Thank you so much, sir. They're your brothers.
Sweet potatoes, do you put 1 cup of water or do you put 2 cups of water?
What kind of sweet potatoes?
Sweet potatoes, candy yams.
Candy yams. How much sweet potatoes am I making? Feed how many?
Cooking channel? Do you
Feed
put
how many people?
1 cup of water, 2 cups of water?
How many people are we feeding? It doesn't matter?
Nope. 1 cup of water, 2 cups.
Well, I'm born and raised African. I'm not African American, so I don't know y'all culture. But if I were to make it, I don't know, shit. 2?
Sweet potatoes, you don't put no water in it.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to pass, but wait, so you wanna steal? So y'all both gonna walk away? You gonna walk, okay?
Yeah. That's slave food. I don't do that, babe. I'm not a slave. I was never a slave. I don't know how slaves cook. I was never a slave. I know where my grandfather came from, my great-grandfather, and where all their ass came from. Your ass don't even know.
So, there you have it. Stop claiming them as being the same as them. We are not the same as Africans, okay? Africans are Hamites, Israelites, which are you so-called blacks, Mexican, and Native Americans. We descend from Shem. We are Shemites, Israelites. We are not the same. Deuteronomy 7:6, it says, "Thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people upon the face of the earth." Okay? We're above all these nations. We are not the same. It's so funny how they want to box us in being the same when it benefits them. But all these nations are capitalizing off the Israelites, y'all. It's time to wake up. Return back to your God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Repent of your sins and keep them law, statutes, and commandments at the end of the day, because this thing is wrapping up. Shalom.
The major division is between, let's say, Black Americans and Africans right now?
So generally, Black Americans, not until recently, Black Americans have been the biggest supporters of the progress of Africa, for Africa to be able to do well. They have always been. When people come out of Africa, when a particular person, say in any capacity, trying to make a difference, Black Americans have always amplified such individuals. Even as recently as the young man from Burkina Faso, you can clearly see if you go to IG, it was Black Americans trying to give a voice. Most Africans, especially the ones that live in diaspora, they don't give a damn. So Black Americans have always been at the forefront of trying to get Africa work. All right, they were the inspiration that gave rise to the independence in Africa. It was their leaders that inspired all the Kwame Nkrumah, all the people that you see revolted in their various places. It was Black Americans' inspiration. Now, why did Black Americans do that? They felt that these people who share the same melanin, because it is only normal, it is only reasonable to say, hey, these ones that belong on the other continent, that share the same melanin, it's only normal to say, hey, you're not doing so well, I want to encourage you to do well. Now they began to inspire Africa. They began to all the fights that they fought in America was to ensure that Africa can at least find way to come and become a natural allies with them. Those were the vision. But at the end of the day, you see people coming over to the America rather than being natural allies to these people that supported you, that gave you light. You became adversary to them. You joined the real enemy. You want to please the enemy against them. So that this is the origin of the animosity. And even as far back as 10, 15 years ago, Black Americans were not showing their discontent towards Africans. They were not. It was only recently, because Africans became far more emboldened in their assertiveness. They became quite insulting. They became quite abusive. They became condescending. Imagine coming into a space, disrespecting the natives, trying to please the real enemy, joining them, thinking is a competition. This was what resulted to them. They began to speak up because the thing became too much, and then they had to. Anybody it became so obvious that anybody would clearly see it. Then they began to speak up. So the idea of delineation has to happen, because clearly people who are supposed to be natural allies are joining the enemy. So why wouldn't you delineate from them? So they don't understand alliance. It doesn't make sense to them. None of this makes sense to them. So the idea of alliance became a thing, and it has to happen, because that's the only way people can now begin to take accountability. That is the only way accountability can step in. Because without delineation, you can see somebody who is from Somalia. He'll be saying, oh, you're punishing me. You're trying to send me out of America because I am black. No, you're not. You are Somalian. You committed fraud. You came in with nothing. You're stealing everything. Now you're trying to say you're black, just to run behind it, and then have all of us as a target. No, you are the target. You caused the problem. So these are some of the things that we must critically look at. Delineation is very, very, very important. That way we can see what each group is bringing to the table. not running and using other people's identity, running behind other people's identity to act like, because most of these people, when they come back home here on the continent, they begin to call themselves Black Americans. They some of them pose, they try to look down upon some of us, because they come. These are some of it. That's why we need delineation, so that you know who you are right from the onset. So that you if you can't do something to improve where you come from, then the shame is upon you. Then that is what we want. We need delineation. Very, very important. Thank you.
All right, my next question is...
No. You can't hide that. Hold on. You can't hide that. You can't just hide that. Hold on. I gotta let... That's not nothing you just gonna jump on real quick and just... That's something you gotta let marinate for a minute. Hold on. This brother gets it. Shout outs to my brother right here. Hold on. Yo, hold on. He gets it, family.
Shout out to this African man. He brought up something that many of y'all African migrants are not even aware of. For Africa to be where it is today, Black Americans played a crucial role. In fact, many of the freedom fighters, African freedom fighters, were inspired by Black Americans. They were supported by them, whether through ideas, financially, even telling them that it was possible to get rid of colonizers. Kwame Nkrumah, he was the first president of Ghana. Himself was inspired by Black Americans. All of his ideas, his motivation to fight for the independence of Ghana was inspired by Black Americans. And as you remember, other African countries learned it from Ghana and started fighting for their own independence, which means that if it wasn't Black Americans, many of us Africans would be still colonized. And many of these migrants in the USA are not aware of this. As if that was not enough, these Black Americans went ahead and fight for Africans to be able to go to America. Before, it wasn't like this. Your Africans couldn't be allowed to cross borders and go to the USA as immigrants. It was only reserved for European migrants. Your Africans and the Caribbeans were not able to migrate to America. These Black Americans made it possible for y'all to go there. They fought for you to be given the same rights as those other migrants from other countries. And they were doing it out of love because they loved you. They wanted you to go there and join hands with them and be able to fight against the white supremacy system, fight against oppression in America. And they were shocked because who they expected you to be is not who you are. Because what they expected you to be is not how you showed yourself to them. You arrived there, instead of siding with those people who fight for y'all, you sided with their oppressors. You started receiving some favors from those other people, and then they made you feel like you're better than Black Americans. You started disrespecting them, looking down on them, and then they got angry. They started regretting the reason why they fight for y'all to go there. And that is why we are watching many videos, these lives of these Black Americans on TikTok, telling y'all to go back home because they thought that you are on their side, but instead you show them that you are on the side of those other people. That's where this anger is coming from, y'all. And this African brother said it very, very clearly. You Africans, my brothers and sisters living in America, I know you're doing better. I know you sometimes tend to feel like you're doing better than Black Americans. But if you really look closer and understand how the white supremacy system works in America, you will understand what these Black Americans are suffering from. Y'all have probably studied in HBCUs universities. These universities were established there to support Black Americans. And y'all were educated there, and you're not even aware of that. You think that it was just your smartness that got you admitted there? No, it wasn't. No, these universities, HBCUs, are for Black Americans. And y'all were admitted there, and you can't even be grateful for that. You've got a lot to thank these Black Americans for. They've done a lot for you migrants living in America. They've done a lot for us Africans living here in Africa. They've done a lot for the Caribbeans, in the Caribbean. And that is why I can say that we owe them a lot. It's so disrespectful to look down on them just because you've got a master's degree there in the USA and think that you're better than these foundational black Americans. I am saying it. Go and learn the history, understand where they are coming from. Instead of just having conversation in your families, talking about how they are lazy, how they have victim mindset, how they don't want to work, just understand where they come from. Understand the kinds of problems that they face with. And then you will empathize with them. Shout out to all African brothers in those clips who have delivered a very crucial message to all migrants in America who tend to disrespect on these foundational black Americans. And the all Africans who really understand where these black Americans come from, shout out to y'all. It's your responsibility to educate your fellow Africans who don't understand it. Now, that was it for today. I want you to drop down there in the comment section what you think about this video. And if you find it interesting, make sure you hit on the like button and subscribe for the future interesting episodes. Mr. TA, the African brother signing off. Ciao.